Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live, and today is Saturday. It's the first day of spring. It's sunny, it's 60 here in New York, and it's just such a good sight to see 60 degree sunny weather. I mean, we had a long, cold winter. So, hi guys, thank you for joining us this evening. Tonight we have a wonderful show. We have JeRonelle. He is an LA-based singer-songwriter, and most of you know him from season 2 of Fox's The Four. So I'm really excited to bring him in the room, and he's going to sing for us as well. So we are going to hang tight, and we'll bring him in the room when he gets here. In the meantime, I start each show off with a song lyric, and tonight's song lyric is going to be from Maxwell, This Woman's Work. And if you know anything about tonight's guest, you know that he sung this song while he was on The Four. I know you got a little life left. I know you got a little life in you left. I know you got a lot of strength left. I should be crying, but I just can't let it show. I should be hoping, but I can't stop thinking. And that's from Maxwell's This Woman's Work. And JeRonelle is in the room, so I'm going to bring him in, and we're going to get this chat started. Hi!
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How's your day going?
It's going good. Just trying to make sure my signal's holding up.
You are good on my end. So I was
Cool.
introducing you to the room before you hopped right in. And I actually start each show off with a song lyric. So I actually shared some lyric from This Woman's Work by Maxwell. And this is a song that you sung on the show. So can
Uh-huh.
you give us a little insight as to why you chose this song? Because anybody who sees this performance, oh my God, this chills down my entire body.
It's the song that I just can't seem to get away from. For the longest time, I remember listening to the song and thinking to myself, man, that's a high song. You know, that's uh, a lot of pressure. You know, to be up there singing Maxwell. That's a lot of pressure. Uh,
Yeah.
well, not necessarily up on the stage of the show, but just in general on any stage. And one day I just finally got the courage and said, you know what, I'm gonna at least attempt to sing and practice and learn this song.
Yeah.
And when it came time to do my audition on The Four, that was one of the songs that I threw out. And the judges or the vocal coaches, so we had Eric Dawkins, who's a phenomenal songwriter. We had Mario Winans. We had Lorianne Gibson, a lot of people who have worked with Diddy before.
Yeah.
And um, they fell in love with that idea of me doing that song. And I wanted to I wanted to do it first instead of making that my challenge song. But they convinced me to switch songs around and use that as the one to really kind of drive the point home. And so I was just like, okay, cool. We'll go with that one. And ever since, anytime somebody mentions the show, they mention Maxwell and This Woman's Work, and oh, can you sing this at my wedding? Or and I'm just like, y'all know this ain't a wedding song, right? It's a sad song, but sure, I'll sing it for you if you want.
Well, I think Maxwell in general, he's just such a phenomenal performer. And then you think of that song in that higher register, and there are only a few singers that can actually sing that song.
Mm-hmm.
Like very singers. And you're one of those absolutely destroyed it. Like I'm like, whoa, what a and Maxwell actually he saw it.
Yeah, he saw it and he commented on the video that I posted on Instagram, and that really made my day.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, it's really him. I'm still putting it out there. If ever it came time for him to get a sort of tribute or lifetime achievement award or any sort of anything like that, I'm like, please, somebody find this performance and call me, because I want to be a part, even if I don't get to sing that particular song.
Yeah.
Uh, even if I don't get to be a part of that particular song, I would love to, be a part of a Maxwell tribute because I
Definitely.
think his music is just, it's amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, I would love to do that song for sure. If,
Yeah.
if ever, if ever the chance came.
Yes. So anytime there's a Maxwell tribute, anything, Grammy, wherever it might,
Mhm.
like, definitely your name has got to be in there. Like, we are putting it in the universe. You need to write it down. You need to put it on your refrigerator and just say, like, I am going to,
I hope so. I really do.
I know you will be. Like, you're up there with everyone else.
I would say between him and John Legend, those are like my all time. Well, and Donny Hathaway.
Yeah.
If I got the chance to do like a live award show tribute to any of those three, sign
Yeah.
me. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's all absolutely legendary musicians. So it's March, which means Women's History Month. Tell us about a woman in your life who inspired
I would say my mom.
you. Mm-hmm.
I know that's kind of the go-to answer, but for me, definitely, um, she inspires my work ethic. I remember being a little kid, and at the time, she was working at a job that it was just kind of one of those jobs to kind of pay the bills. And so sometimes either after school um, or on the weekends, I would accompany her to the office
Mm-hmm.
and, you get to meet some of her different coworkers and that sort of thing. And she oftentimes would be one of, if not the last person to leave the office. And I would see how hard she's working, just typing away, trying to, send off all this paperwork. And I remember at one point I was like, Mom, you're kind of the director of everything nobody else wants to do. That was like my official title that I gave her because it just seemed like she was always going the extra mile, even at different, company functions, company parties. I remember they had a holiday party, and she volunteered to stick around and clean up. And of course, me being younger, I was like, "No, Mom, I'm ready to go. Like, let's go home. Like, why are we cleaning up everybody else's mess?" But watching her really step up to the plate and try to be of service. And again, that work ethic, it really motivated me to be like, okay, how can I apply this same kind of mindset and attitude in my own life? So of course, when I'm really locked in and focused on music, whether it's a performance or creating a project, or even back when I was still in college, I would always be the last one to leave the music building.
Mm-hmm.
That became my home away from home, like my sanctuary. Oftentimes, well, I wouldn't say often. There were a few times where either campus police or somebody on staff would have to come and be like, okay, you got to go. Like you can't stay here overnight. But
Yeah.
I was just like that determined to really make music such a major part of my life. And also, I just enjoyed having that space, and being around the pianos and the computer lab and getting to play all these songs that I was discovering for the first time. So that I would say she is definitely a woman who inspires me.
Yeah. And it's so amazing to have that work ethic when you're a kid. And you look up to her and you're like, oh, Mom, you're doing everything all the time
Yeah.
for everything. And that kind of implements how things work in your life and your career. Always studying, you're always trying to like get everything down to like the last breath and like you're rehearsing, rehearsing, rehearsing. I think that's so, so, so important because
Mhm.
practice makes perfect.
Yeah,
And those
absolutely.
times, all those like late nights that you were in the music school and the studying and all that, like I think it's so beautiful. And I think a lot of people need to hear that. Like you just need to work your butt.
Yeah. Of
And
course, of
yeah,
course, we live in a day and an age now where it's kind of made to seem though, that you always have to be working. And now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, find the balance between, when you're on and when you're working, do what
right.
you need do. But when you are resting, take adequate time to rest your body, your mind, and your soul. So definitely, you know, I still manage to have my downtime, but yeah, like when I'm going, I'm going. Hey, Latoya, I see one of my dream girls castmates in the chat, so I just want to say
Yeah.
hi.
Hello, hello. So let's start from the very beginning. Go back to your childhood. You're a classical singer who started singing at 3 years old, which I think is amazing. Like when I think of a 3 year old, I'm not thinking of them singing, but I think it's so awesome that you started that young. What inspired you to get into music?
Music was always and has always been a part of our family. You know, anytime we get together, there's always some sort of little sing along, you know, just for fun.
Yeah.
Uh, Mom was always playing music in the home. Of course, a lot of times it'd be like uh, either old gospel, so a lot of 80s and 90s choir music,
Mhm.
uh, or occasionally it would be, you know, the family friendly version of whatever you were hearing on the radio. So a lot of Radio Disney and
Yeah.
a lot of the pop acts of that time, like Destiny's Child, Usher, NSYNC, you know, all of those different acts and yeah, music was always in the home, and she noticed early on that I had an interest in it, so she put me in the church choir, the church kids choir. Uh, and so year after year, I would just really keep growing and showing more interest. And of course, you know, being the only child, being the only child and the only grandchild,
Yeah.
of course, I liked having the attention on me.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's just like, hey, everybody, look at me, and I'm going over here and singing and pretending to be, you know, wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just carried on. Um, Even I can remember a lot of times riding around with my mom and my grandma in the back of the car, and they would be playing again old gospel mixtapes. And you know, this was back when CDs were like really just starting to become a thing. So a lot of times we had the tape cassettes, so you
Yeah.
would have to rewind if you wanted to hear a song again. And of course, me being me, I'd be like, no, rewind, I want to hear it again. And I, you know, just trying to sing along at the top of my little 7-year-old lungs. um, you know, just really soaking up all of that music, all of that joy that I was feeling, and it carried on through, you know, elementary and middle school. Started singing in the choir there, um, and then eventually that took me on to high school, where I really started to get more of get exposed to more of the classical side.
Mhm.
Um, and by the time I got ready to graduate high school, I pretty much knew if I'm going to go to college, keyword if, I'm going to go to college, it's going to be for music. Because originally my plan was like, no, I'm going to graduate high school and immediately get into the music industry. And my mom was just like, no, you're going to college for at least 1 year. And so, yeah, I made the decision to become a music major at Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, and from there, the rest is history.
Yeah. And here you are.
Yeah.
So talk to us about your creative process. Like,
hmm well, I'll say for this particular new project that I just dropped, called Beloved,
mhm.
we obviously we've been on lockdown for the last year, so I really started writing, I say, top of January of last year,
Mhm.
and eventually things kind of locked down around March here in LA, and I just used that time to just really start writing and fine tuning all of the different lyrics and you know, picking apart things and sending ideas off to other people and saying, you know, what do you think about this? Um, Give me feedback, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And then, of course, I had a small team of producers that I've worked with before, that I was like, yo, you know, let's lock into the studio and try to create some new sounds. And I, again, sending them back and forth ideas and them sending over rough drafts and us having to communicate mostly through phone.
Yeah.
That
Which,
was an interesting experience.
yeah.
But you know, it was fun. It was fun getting to create this project. And then when it got time to record, um, you know, me being very COVID minded, I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk in here to the studio. I got my mask on. I got my little tea in a bottle,
Yeah.
and you know, we just gonna knock it out.
Yeah.
Uh, and luckily, we were able to get pretty much everything recorded within about a month.
No.
Yeah, within about a month. Well, I would say initially it was 2 weeks, but
Mm-hmm.
we had to go back and clean some stuff up again and redo some stuff because of technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we got everything recorded within about a month, and then you had the mixing and the mastering, having to wait for that, sending that back and forth, and all those ideas. Uh, and yeah, then we just kind of went from there into shooting the visuals. That was fun. Because we actually had one video for a song Flex, which is the second single from the project. Um, we shot my portion of it. It's a collaboration with a friend of mine named Ray Louise, and so we shot my portion of the video here in LA, and then my uncle flew out to Atlanta to meet with her to shoot her portion
Mm-hmm.
in ATL. So that was fun getting to coordinate that. And then we just started dropping songs and the videos and eventually the full project.
Yes. And that project came out in November.
Yes, it came out it came out the week of election night.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I'm so glad that things went the way they did, because I was just like, I don't know if this was a good idea to release this the week that, you know, potentially one of the biggest, most consequential elections is getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
But, you know, luckily the election went the way it did. Everybody was in good spirits. And I was like, oh, here's something else to make you guys smile. Boom! We have a brand
awesome.
new EP. And yeah, it's been a journey, you know, trying to promote this project in the midst of a pandemic, having to do a lot of over the phone interviews and electronic, not getting to not getting to perform in person like I really, really want to. But you know, we're making the best of it. We're making the best of it, and I'm glad that people are still finding out about the project. People are still sharing it, still streaming it, um, and still really having it in rotation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then hopefully once everything turns around, we can get some tour dates, just go live. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Although I will say I feel like low-key I'm nearing the end of promoting this particular project, because I'm starting to get all of these ideas for, you know, what may be next. Do I want to do, you know, a full album? Do I want to do another EP? Do I want to do, you know, a live sort of situation, or do I want to do a studio again? You know, all these different ideas that I'm trying to let play out in my head. Um, but yeah, so for right now, we're still like, hey, I got the beloved EP, but pretty soon it's like, okay, that was fun. Now what?
So, how would you describe the music that you create?
Definitely R&B, R&B
Mm-hmm.
and soul, R&B and soul all day. Um, but you'll get hints of pop and gospel and little bits of classical here and there. Oh, somebody said album, please. Okay, well, hey, listen, albums take time and a lot of money, so
They do.
if I have to do a little GoFundMe situation, don't be surprised. But yeah, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
How would okay? How would you describe the music you create?
Yes, okay. R&B, yeah, I would say for me, my goal is to bridge the gap between where R&B was and where R&B is. A lot of times you'll see artists talking about, oh, I want to bring back, you know, bring back the 90s, bring back this feeling, bring back this, bring back that. And it's like, you know, everything has its time and its season. And
Right.
some of the music that's being made now, I do enjoy. Not everything has to be a slow vibe type, track, but I do enjoy some of the music that's coming out now.
Hmm.
So it's like if I can again bridge the gap and still have the vulnerability and uh, the emotional aspect of it, the songwriting, of definitely the vocal performance and the musicality of what we've always considered to be true elements of R&B, but also embracing some of the new sound and the new feel that's out there. If I can bridge that gap and bring those two worlds together, that would be how I describe my sound. And being that artist that says things that um, guys don't always say, out loud at least.
Yeah.
And of course, me recently stepping out being more open about, being a queer bisexual artist. It's like,
Hmm.
trying to find that balance now, and start to be sort of that representation that we're not seeing. So that's how I would describe my sound.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's the mix of old and new, but
Mhm.
also honesty
Mhm.
and things that people are afraid to say sometimes. I think it's so amazing when you find artists that are just living in their truth and
Yeah.
just saying things that maybe not all people talk about. And you're like, oh my gosh, I really resonate with this song.
Hmm.
That song helped me get through this time, or I went through something similar to that.
Yeah. Like back in the day, music, they always say music is the soundtrack to our lives, and
Right.
you have those moments throughout life where when you think of these moments, you think of a particular song, or if this were a movie, this you always think, oh, that song would be perfect for that scene or that moment in my life. So it's like if I can bring that kind of feeling and be, you
Yeah.
know, say, hey, we got married to this song, or I remember that song got me through the worst heartbreak of my life, or this happened and your song was playing in the background, that sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few of your musical inspirations, Donny Hathaway, Maxwell, John Legend, which you said earlier.
Mhm.
What about these musicians inspire you?
uh let's see, John Legend in particular, and Donnie, they both came at a critical points in my life for me. John Legend came at a point where early on in my adolescence, my voice started to do that change that a lot of guys go through.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have a whole lot of people that I felt I could listen to, a lot of male artists that I could listen to and sing their songs. And really identify with their voice, because they were still singing tenor one, tenor two, and
Yeah.
now all of a sudden my voice is getting lower and I'm becoming more of a baritone bass. And so John Legend's Get Lifted album, I remember that came out around that time, and I was just like, I like his voice. It feels similar to mine. There's a warmth there's an honesty there's a tone and a texture there that sounds similar to what my voice is going through.
Hmm.
So I really clinged to that album, and just seeing how John has been able to not cross, well, yeah, crossover, but seeing how he's been able to extend his influence beyond just R&B and soul
Hmm.
into the pop world, but still remaining true to him.
Yeah.
That's very inspiring. I'll say Donny Hathaway. Um, I started listening to him when I was in college,
Hmm.
and it was just one of those feelings like, oh wow, he's got again that baritone kind of sound, but there's also a soulfulness and a churchiness, if you will, there, that I was just like, oh, okay, so you can combine these two worlds and really make people feel something, like when he sings "For All We Know," or um, a song for you or any of his other songs, it's just like there's a feeling there
Mm-hmm.
that it's just like it captures you, it wraps you up, and it does not let you go. And I'll say for Maxwell, Maxwell's just a cool guy. Maxwell all around, his stage presence, his stage performance, just watching him be amazing. It's just like I just want to be cool and smooth like you when I grow up. Say two more influences while I'm thinking about, or a couple more that come to mind. A lot of them are in the gospel arena.
Uh-huh.
John P. Key is one. Um, not Fred Hammond. John P. Key, Daryl Coley definitely is another one. As far as like the technique and styling, riffing, running, all that fun stuff, and coloring a song, I listen to a lot of his music for that. Kim Burrell is another one. The Clark sisters, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, all of these different voices that have really influenced my ear over the years.
Mm-hmm. So, who would you like to collaborate with?
This is always a fun question. Because I'm still technically an up and coming independent artist, and I have a lot of independent artist friends who are also up and coming. So it's like, when I find different songs that I feel like are a good fit, it's like, yo, I would love to collaborate on this song. Or when my peers put out songs, it's like, man, I would love, to write a remix verse and just, us put something together. As far as, I guess, already established artists, I love her.
Yeah.
I think she's absolutely phenomenal.
Mhm.
Jasmine Sullivan, definitely. Of course, like I said, John Legend, Maxwell. One that one that I know catches a lot of people off guard, and I feel like is a wild card, but if there ever came a time and ever came a day, I would be so down for it. Barbara Streisand.
Ooh,
Because
love it.
Her phrasing, and again, the way she just tells a story and makes you feel, it's just like, wow. And she's a freaking legend. It's just like, I would love to do a duet with her and kind of access more of that musical theater Broadway sound. I would love to do a duet with her. I mean, there's so many. If I could dance, I would definitely say Janet Jackson. I'd be like, listen, let's call Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and get us a nice little dance bop. Get this quick #1 on the Hot 100 dance chart real quick.
No, you don't have to dance because she did a song with Busta Rhymes, and it was just like what it was to be, right? And he's not dancing, he's rapping.
Absolutely. There's a few. It's just like, man, I would really love for that to be for that to become a thing.
Definitely. So, what's your favorite song to perform by?
I think it just kind of depends on the day. It depends on the day. It depends on the crowd. I think knowing your audience, reading the room, those are important things. One thing I've learned since moving out here to LA is that you have to know how to read the room. If you see people are responding to a certain type or a certain sound or a certain style of music, it may be best to keep the flow going in that direction. So you gotta be quick with it. You gotta be quick on your feet. I know some of my favorites, of course, This Woman's Work. I always tell people, if you want to hear me sing a full version of it, catch me doing it live. A Song for You by Donny Hathaway. Ready for Love by India Arie. Of course, my own original music. Absolutely. Like, listen, you're going to get these EPs and singles today. Yeah, I would say it just depends on the day.
In 2018, you were on Fox's show, The Four. What made you want to audition for this show? There's so many other shows that our singing competition. So what about this show spoke to you?
Well, the fact that number one, all of those other shows told me no.
Oh, okay, okay.
Every last one of them.
Oh,
American Idol, Sunday Best, America's Got Talent, The Voice, all of them
wow,
told me no.
wow.
And I just got to a point where I was just like, I'm tired. I'm tired of auditioning. I know I can sing,
Yeah,
and I know I can bring something to this platform, but I think it's about, when it's the right time. When it's your time, it's your time, and it just wasn't my time.
yeah.
So I just was like, I'm not interested in auditioning for any other shows. I submitted my information for season one of the four, but again, didn't hear back. They told me no, so I was done with it. I was just like, I'm gonna make my own path. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get to where I want to be my own way. And then a friend had a birthday party and wanted to do like an open mic karaoke night. And I went and I sang. Turns out one of the casting producers was in the audience for the show.
Oh,
And he convinced me, uh, over the process of several days, he convinced me to audition again.
hmm.
And he kind of walked me through the process, coached me on, song choice and some things that I could present to the panel of judges and executives. And I was just like, okay, I'll go for it. I will trust your word. If you say I have a good shot, I'll do what I got to do.
Ah,
So I auditioned, and they didn't tell me no. They were like, okay, we like what you gave, and um, we'll keep you in the queue. We'll keep you in the loop. So meanwhile, I go back to living regular life.
mhm.
Second season has now started. They start taping the first couple of episodes. I come across an opportunity to do paid seat filling for the show, just as an audience member.
Okay.
Um, and of course, I'm just like, oh well, hey, I want to see how the show works, and I get to pay a phone bill or a utility bill, making some extra change, being a seat filler, sure. When I get to the show, I find out that one of my friends from college is going to be auditioning that day. So
Mm.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I can cheer him on, and yeah, I can support him. The cameraman zooms in on me as I'm cheering on my friend. That footage of me cheering gets back to the producers and the executives behind the show. They remembered my audition, and they were like, oh, we saw you were in the show, we would like to bring you on. Now
Mm.
of course, in their they have to kind of spin it for a narrative that fits the show. So they were like, okay, so basically we're going to say that you were studying your competition, and
Uh,
that's why you were in the audience, and now you're trying to shoot your own shot at getting on the show. And I was just like, that's not exactly what happened, but sure, we will go with it if it means I get my shot at being on this show.
I can't make that up. That's messed up. I was like, oh, he was because I was like, oh yeah, he was studying how everything was going. But that's crazy. They lied about it.
Listen, when I tell you, they crafted a whole lot of that package, the video package, because they made it seem like I had a whole poster board with everybody's faces cut out and writing down everybody's strengths and weaknesses. I'm like, listen, I'm not doing all that. Like, am I taking mental notes? Yes, but you
Yeah.
know, I'm not going that far. That's a little
Yeah.
stalkerish. But I was just like, if I have to, kind of go along with this,
Yeah.
so that way I can get on the show, then cool,
Hmm.
I'm gonna do it. And um, next thing you know, I'm on stage singing in front of Diddy and DJ Khaled and Megan Trainor,
Yeah.
and I end up getting one of the four chairs.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So cool. So what surprised you about your time on the four?
Mm, what surprised me? Honestly, I don't think there were too many surprises, other than it was just one of those things where it was just like, this is really happening. This is really finally happening.
Yeah.
Um, that was the biggest surprise because for so long, again, I had been so used to them telling me no, 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 no on all these different shows. I was just like, okay. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't say there was any particular thing that surprised me other than, just being able to say that I got to work, like I said, with Eric Dawkins. I got to
Mhm.
work with Mario Winans, um, Adam Blackstone, who I've always said, you know, Adam Blackstone is a genius musical director, and I would love to work with him in some capacity. And so
Right.
the fact that I got to I got to work with him on this show. Somebody actually mentioned me on Twitter a couple days ago and was like, "Yo, I know people talk about the this woman's work performance, but your first song was really dope too." And I was like, "Yeah," and I'm glad that the ending of that particular song we did "Too Close." I forgot who the artist is, but we did a song called "Too Close." It's more of a rock song,
Oh, Khalid.
and yes, yes, and I got to work with Adam on the arrangement of the ending. So it's
Mhm.
like, getting to have moments like that. That was the big fun part about it.
Yeah.
And of course, all of that adrenaline. That was a big shock because when they first opened the doors and you're first walking out, my legs were shaking. I like the camera didn't catch it, but as I was, running around trying to hype the crowd up and shaking everybody's hands, like my legs were literally shaking like the Tin Man in the Wiz. I was like, this is nerve wracking, and all
Oh,
the cameras, and all these people. But yeah, I knew that I had a goal, which was to get one of these chairs, have the best performance possible, and not embarrass myself on national television.
I crazy though that you were a seat filler. I've done seat filling in New York, and it's
Mhm.
fun. You're just
Yeah,
like occupying a space or sitting in a chair for some performance, so it looks full.
yeah.
And so I kind of love the fact that you were just there, and someone was like, "Oh my God, there's that guy," and they're, "Oh my God, let's bring him up there." Like, I think that is so awesome how that happened.
Yeah,
It's
it
like I'm not going anywhere. Like I'm not on stage, but like I'm just gonna be in the audience because I'm here. Like
yeah.
that's my thing.
And at first, I was kind of worried, like, are they going to try to disqualify me if they catch me being in the audience? But it worked out in my favor, so I cannot complain at all.
And the thing is, it's so cool because when you go on a show like that, I mean, you get worldwide recognition,
Hmm.
wide recognition, and you're able to reach fans in every corner of the world because
Yeah,
they see the show, they see the replay on YouTube, and the cool thing about these shows is it's like you have all these opportunities that the show gives you. And Maxwell is like, oh my God, look at what a great job he did.
yeah. I remember people reaching out from all over, like South Africa,
Yeah.
Brazil, of course, here in the States. I actually got the privilege of singing for an NFL player's wedding because he and his fiance had seen me on the show. So they flew me out.
Yeah.
Uh, this was the same, yeah, this was later on that year. And, all of these amazing experiences because of this one moment.
Yeah.
Uh, it's pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Awesome. I love that. So you've sung as a background singer for a lot of legendary performers, Khalid, Common, and the list goes on and on. What's one of your most memorable moments singing backup?
uh, there's a few. Mm. So my first real ongoing consistent gig was actually with Tisha Campbell here in LA.
Yeah.
Uh, if anybody remembers Tisha Campbell from the Martin Lawrence show back in the day, or My Wife and Kids,
Yeah.
legendary sitcom actress. So it was really cool to be, kind of at her side for weeks and weeks on end, getting to watch her operate on stage and really be that star that we've come to know on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and at the time, of course, like I said, I'm a baritone. I say I'm a baritone with tenor capabilities,
Yeah.
I actually, the entire time that I was singing background for her, I was singing soprano.
Oh,
So anytime
okay.
that she had a high note, I would be in the background matching her, or, you know, harmonizing with her.
Oh, wow.
It was me and two other guys. So being able to have that experience, of course, singing with Khalid at Coachella, that was dope.
Yeah.
Of course, I currently am a member of the Sunday Service Collective with Kanye West. That's
Yeah.
been amazing.
Yeah.
Be able to travel all over, you know, being able to go to places like Jamaica and Paris, you know, places that I've always wanted to go, and being able to go there for no cost,
Yeah.
and being able to sing and to spread a message of hope, and
Hmm.
and you know, just be able to soak up the culture. That's the best part about it, is just being able, again, just to have all these new experiences and working alongside all of my friends. um let's see, who else. Those are some of the main ones, uh
Hmm.
that really stick out to me. Yeah.
So that brings me to my next question, which was you are a part of Kanye Sunday Service Collective, which is phenomenal because when I've seen you guys perform, and I've never seen you guys live, I've only seen you in like Instagram videos, the feeling like that I get when I hear you guys, like, and I will like zero in on one people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like she feels it in every inch of her body. Like that is
Yeah.
such a powerful feeling. How did this opportunity to join Sunday Service Collective come up for you?
It was actually through an audition that I didn't know was going to be an audition. Well, I mean, we knew it was going to be an audition, but I didn't think it was specifically for the collective. I thought it was more just, you know, a general audition, um, that our director Jason, he does a lot of contracting,
Hmm.
vocal contracting for all sorts of shows and production. So, you know, a lot of us went into it thinking we were just auditioning to, you know, get pulled in for potential projects that he was working on in the future. Come
Yeah,
to find out later that Sunday Service was the main project that they were looking to add new members.
amazing.
Yeah, that's how that came about, and I've had such a wonderful time. Again, you know, all of these wonderful experiences. And as far as the feeling, like it's a feeling that you really have to, you know,
Yeah,
experience in person. Like, you know, people can say whatever they want through a 15 to 60-second clip, but when you are there in person,
yeah.
totally different experience, totally different experience. Even in rehearsals, sometimes we, you know, we get really caught up in and emotional ourselves, because that feeling, um and when you really think about what you're singing about, it just really has a way of taking over. So
Mhm.
yeah, the feeling is real.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like I don't know how many people watching this have witnessed this in person,
Hmm.
but I mean, just the videos that I on social media, I'm like, wow, I need to see this in person. Like this
Yeah.
energy, the feeling, this is a movement, and it's so powerful.
Yeah.
How how many people are in Sunday Service Collective? I mean, it looks like there's tons.
At any given moment, it I would say the largest are, just the choir alone has ever been, was probably about 180,
Okay.
maybe well, 150 to 180.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course you have to throw in a 15, when we have like the full band with the saxophone players and all of the different instruments. It's about like 15-piece band. Of course, you've got all of the crew and
Hmm.
logistical people, so it's a lot packing onto these big giant planes and
Oh yeah.
flying, you know, from city to city to city every week. Uh,
Mhm.
but yeah, I would say about 150 to 180, give or take. Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. What song do you wish you wrote and why?
For financial reasons,
Sure.
all I want, all I want for Christmas by Mariah Carey.
Yes.
I'm like, if I could only have written that song, I mean, you talking about a consistent Christmas coin.
Yes.
Like, ooh. I would say that. Of course, people always talk about "And I Will Always Love You." That's one of the biggest love songs of all time.
How about for not for financial reasons?
Just for purely emotional,
Yeah.
"All of Me" by John Legend.
Yeah.
I would say that that's a song that will stand the test of time. That gets played at every wedding.
Yeah.
And it's the soundtrack to so many people's lives and one of the happiest moments of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's another song? Total Praise by Richard Smallwood.
Mm-hmm.
That you talk about a gospel song that is known all over the world and has been sung everywhere in
Mm-hmm.
every church, in every cathedral. Like Total Praise is definitely, that song. And again, it has special meaning to a lot of people. It makes people feel. So I would say those are just some songs that I wish I'd written.
Mm-hmm. So we talked about this earlier, but in November, released EP Beloved. What
Mhm.
do your fans take away from this project?
I want them to take away. I know this is gonna sound kind of weird, but I want them to take away R&B and soul. You
Yeah.
know, we still, as a genre, I feel like R&B, where it is right now, still isn't getting quite as much respect as it deserves or as it used to.
Yeah.
Um, and particularly for male artists, a lot of people like to say, "Oh, men aren't singing anymore. They're not being vulnerable. They're not." Oh, oh, there we go. Okay, that's my signal. It's time to plug up my phone. All right. um, they always like to say, "Oh, men aren't being vulnerable," all this, that, and the third, and it's just like I wanted to create a project that kind of proves people wrong,
Mm-hmm.
that tells a complete story from beginning to end, that has a lot of up tempo that makes people want to get up and move and dance and have a good time and groove. Um, and again, create songs that people can emotionally connect to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know songs like um, "Think of You." It's a happy song. It's about long distance relationships. Particularly, it was inspired by a lot of my music friends and how they are able to balance, being in these marriages and relationships and still be on the road, constantly booked and busy and living their own dreams. And it's just like, y'all make this look so easy. So I wanted to kind of write a song about that. Flex, again, up tempo, perfect song for date night, or a girls or a guys night out. But then you also have songs like "Stay" and "Pulling Away," which are more emotional, which really puts people in a vulnerable state. I know I was for sure in a vulnerable state when I wrote them.
Yeah.
So yeah, just trying to give people a variety.
Yes. And if you guys haven't heard, Beloved is on all streaming platforms. Tell them, everybody watching,
Yeah,
where to find it.
yeah, you can find it on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Google Play, all of those wonderful places. Just type in JeRonelle here. I'll type it in on here. Um, but yeah, it's a wonderful EP, and I tell people like you're guaranteed to find at least one song on here that you will want to play over and over and over again, and add to your playlist and share with friends and family.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, where can people finding this right now? If they don't follow you already, where can they find you?
They can follow me here on Instagram, on Twitter, uh, Facebook, a little bit here and there. I, I typically use Facebook more just for like family purposes, just checking in every now and again. But
Yeah.
definitely Facebook, um, or Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse. That's kind of a new app that's been taking the world by storm over the past year. So
Mm-hmm.
you can find me and connect with me on one of those apps. Yeah,
Awesome.
and type in "I'm JeRonelle" and you'll find me.
Yeah, so please add him. Please give him a follow and talk to us about new music. Do you have anything coming down the pipes as far as singles, collections, live streams? Give us all that good stuff.
Nothing new yet. Um, I'm still in the process of finishing up promoting this new EP.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure as many people I feel have heard it as possible, and I've reached as many platforms as possible with it.
Yeah.
But I've got some ideas that I'm thinking of. It's just a matter of, again, what's going to make sense, what's going to not only engage the most people but also help me to grow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I've got some ideas, but I haven't officially started on anything just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions that I have for you, but you're gonna perform a couple songs for us.
Yeah.
So take it away.
All right. Let's go. Uh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah. You make me wanna leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship. Yeah, this is what you do. Think about a ring and all the things that come along with. You make me wanna leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship. Yeah, this is what you do. Think about a ring and all the things that come along with. You make me. Before anything that came between us, you were like my best friend. The one who used to run and talk to when me and my girl was having problems. He used to say it'd be okay, suggest little nice things I should do. But when I go home at night and lay my head down, I'm listening to think about you. How you make me wanna leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship. Yeah, this is what you do. Think about a ring and all the things that come along with. You make me wanna leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship. Yeah, this is what you do. Think about a ring and all the things that come along with. You make me. Now what's sad is you're the one that hooked this up, knowing it should have been you. And what's sad is that I love you, but I'm falling for you. So what should I do? Should I tell my baby bye-bye? Should I do exactly what I feel inside? I don't want to stay, don't want to leave, but I really need to get it together. Oh, oh. Think about a ring and all the things that come along with. You make me wanna leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship with you. This is what you do. Think about a ring and all the things that come along with. You make me. At this point, the situation's out of control. I never meant to hurt her, but I gotta let it go. And she may not understand all of this is going on. I tried and I tried to fight, but the feeling's just too strong. You make me. Oh, 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 yeah. Said you make me, baby. Yeah, yeah. You make me wanna leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship. Yeah, this is what you do. Think about a ring and all the things that come along with. You make me wanna leave the start a new relationship with you. This is what you do. Think about a ring and all the things that come along with you. Make me, yeah.
Yes! Classic Ursher. Yes.
Yeah. Doing this in the midst of a sinus infection.
Yeah, I know. And
We're pushing through.
Not a lot of people know he is sick right now. He's on antibiotics. So
Listen, my voice is just like, we're hanging on by a thread.
I know. Thank you. And what's the next one you're going to do for us?
This one is an original song called Stay. It's the last track off my new EP, Beloved. So here we go. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh. Lately I've been kicking it alone. I'm done with all of the casual shit. I've been out of grinding on my own. Oh, if there's one thing that I know, my heart is longing for commitment in a world that can really do you cold. And it really gets old. It feels like lately all the songs are out coming from a lonely place. I'm asking God to send me someone new to love, but even making me wait. Oh, when I stumble through the good, I'll be up and gone before the next day. So at this point, all I want is somebody to stay. Yeah, all I really want is somebody to stay. Gotta find me somebody to love, somebody to trust, somebody to call, somebody I can put my arm into at the end of the day. All I want is somebody to stay. Yeah. Ooh. Lately I've been staying in my lane. Cause every time I think I finally found the one, she keeps turning out the same. Oh, the same. Just a bunch of endless questions and games. Like, what are we doing? Where is this headed? What exactly do I mean to you, my dear? Can we be clear? Cause it feels like lately all the songs are coming from a lonely place. I had a couple of romances that I thought were sure, but crumbled in my face. And I tried to make them happy, but they all moved on without me anyway. So at this point, all I want is somebody to stay. Yeah. All I really want is somebody to stay. Gotta find. Ooh, yeah. All I want is somebody to tell me that you'll stay. That's all I want, baby. That's all I need. At this point, all I want is somebody to stay, somebody to stay. All I really want is somebody to stay. Went right into the next one.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So, if anybody has questions for JeRonelle, please feel free to put them in the chat below.
Hey. I see a couple people here. What's up, Edgar? What's up, Colette? Somebody said he's sick and still sounded better than. I appreciate it.
So how can people watching this right now support you in your career?
The best thing is just spreading the word, you know. Mm-hmm. Of course, following me if you're not following me already.
Yeah.
you know, just sharing anytime I post something on Instagram, because or Twitter, because you know
Yeah.
algorithms like to mess with us as independent artists.
Right.
Um, of course, like I said, streaming and buying the music, um, sharing it on all your social media.
Hmm.
That's how other people uh, that's how other people get put on. You know, just by word of mouth. So just share the music, share the clips, uh,
Hmm.
and you know, really, I say this whenever you find an artist that you really like, especially one that's up and coming, you know, don't necessarily try to keep them a secret, because a lot of times we don't we don't want to be kept a secret.
No,
Like,
tell
we,
everybody no.
yeah, like share, let people know we're out here.
Yeah.
So that way we can stop seeing all these tweets and posts about R&B doesn't feel the same anymore. It's like you're just not listening to the right people.
Exactly.
Somebody
That's,
asked, "Where's your favorite place to perform?"
yeah.
I don't really have a favorite place. Just you know, anywhere where there's good energy, good vibes, and a receptive crowd.
Hmm.
Because nobody likes performing where you know people are just kind of standing around stone faced. And I,
Exactly.
I've had a few experiences being here in LA where it's just you know people trying to be super important and bougie and not want to let loose and respond. And it's just like when
Yeah.
you respond to me, I can give you more because I know
Ex-
you're feeling it. So, you
yeah.
know, if you like what you're hearing, cheer or clap, you know, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Where do you want to travel next? The only major place that I can think of, actually, so there's two. So, one thing we didn't necessarily talk about, but I was on Wheel of Fortune last
I
year.
saw that. I saw
Yeah,
that. So cool. You got to talk to us about that. It was so neat.
yeah. That was one of those. I'm happy I caught the audition link when I did,
Yeah.
and because I am like a legit childhood super fan of Wheel of Fortune and The Price is Right.
Yeah.
Uh, and I've had the opportunity to be in the audience for both, but particularly for Wheel of Fortune, it was just like, this is my chance. This is my chance. Okay, you know, send in an audition tape, and this was in September, so they were looking for contestants for the upcoming season that they're doing now, but they're looking more so for people who are in California or close to the area because of COVID. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is perfect. So I submitted my information in. They loved my audition, and their production team is really nice. And being on the show allowed me to make a nice little chunk of change
Yes.
and win a trip for me and my mom to Costa Rica. So
So fun.
yeah, we're in the process of planning that now. I'm excited. I've never been before, and she's never been. So you know, to get to take my mom on a trip outside of the country, you know, for free.
Yeah. That's a,
But one other place I would love to visit and perform is London, the UK. Their audience, they love R&B and B and soul, and so I would love to go over there and showcase my talents and soak up all of that love and good energy. Yeah.
mhm.
Somebody said, do you like to collaborate with other musicians? Of course. For me, it's just a matter of it has to make sense. Whatever we're collaborating on, it has to make sense. I'm not typically the type of artist that will just reach out to a big name to collab just because they're a big name. Like for me, it's like if I honestly can hear you and me both fitting well on this song, then it's like, of course, you know, I'm going to reach out and say, hey, let's make this happen.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, if it's one of those situations like Flex. Flex is a perfect example. So when a friend of mine who produced the track Ola, we all went to college together. When he sent me the track, immediately I knew, okay, first of all, this song is going to be hot,
Mhm.
and I knew immediately that I wanted to get Ray Louise's voice on it because I was just like, I can hear her totally just demolishing this, writing, you know, just writing her complete ass off, you know. So yeah, yeah, it just has to make sense. It just has to make sense.
Mhm.
I want to sing "Pulling Away" for a solo at a choir concert, but I'm afraid I won't do it. Just listen, sing the song, man. Sing the song.
Yes.
don't don't worry about you know trying to sound like me, just sing the song. Just make sure you send me a clip. That's all I ask.
What,
Yeah.
what's the best advice you've ever been given?
Mm, Probably from my mom, which would be just she would always tell me, like, whenever I would get ready to go into auditions or major opportunities, she would always just tell me, just breathe and just do your part. The rest will happen naturally. And that's pretty much always been my mindset going into any major audition or opportunity. It's just like, remember to breathe and
Mm-hmm.
just go in and give your honest, authentic self. And if you know it's meant to be, it'll happen.
Yeah.
Have you thought about what new direction you want to go for your next project? Not quite. Not quite yet. I'm still thinking about it. Still thinking about it. Again, there's multiple ideas on the table, some of which I have kind of discussed with some musician friends, and be like, "What do you think about, you know, doing something like this?" And so it just depends on, you know, what's going to make the most sense. Of course, what's going to be feasible, you know, what's going to be in the budget, because I don't want to do something that I don't have finances for.
Right.
Um, but again, you know, what's going to make sense to where I am right now and where I'm trying to go. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any final words for?
Uh, well, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much for this interview. I had a great time, despite all of the
I know.
all of what's going on in here.
I know.
It's just like, hurry up and get out all these antibiotics and things. It's just like, just knock it out. Just get away, get away. um, but yeah, thank you again for this opportunity. Make sure, for anybody who is checking out this live, please go stream and share the music.
Yes.
Um, you know, really, just really support it. That's the best way to help an independent artist, is
Mm-hmm.
by sharing and sharing and sharing our stuff with, you know, those around you. Someone said, "Do you have another job to help with your music career?" So I do have like a little part-time part-time hustle, you know, because I'm still an independent artist out here. I still have to pay bills,
Right.
but I am blessed to say I'm at a point right now where the the income that I've made from, you know, all of these different musical opportunities that I've been a part of over the last year and some change, those have kind of sustained me to the point where um, I don't have to have like a main 9 to 5 anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
that's been my prayer. That has been my prayer. That was actually my prayer right after the show finished. I was just like, okay, I like that feeling that I had when I was on TV and doing what it is that I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Being here at the Gap and folding clothes and picking up after people's children
Oh gosh.
is not what I want to do for the rest of my life.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. Unless you're
So
reading guests and being like, "Hey, welcome to the Gap."
yeah, it's a lovely store, but I'm not trying to be there year after year.
No.
And again, you know, picking up after either people's children or just people in general. You know, especially in a retail situation, people just moving clothes all around, and I got to a point where I could not fake the funk anymore. You know, we when you work at a retail store, they tell you, okay, these are the deals of the day. Make sure you mention this, and you know, make sure you sell. And I got to a point where I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even do it with a smile. I couldn't do it at all. Like, I was just like, hey, welcome to the Gap. Let me know if you need any help. I'll be over here hiding over in the corner folding the same pile of clothes that I folded like 2 or 3 times today. Because I was just that over it. So, you know, to be in the position now where um, I'm able to pursue more of what it is that I want to do, in addition to still having like a little part-time thing going on. It's a major blessing, and I'm hopeful that the day will come very, very, very soon where I won't have to worry about doing any sort of part-time thing at all, and I'll just be able to be full-time musician, constantly booked and busy, and you know, making money and doing what it is that I got to do and what I love to do.
Yes, I love that. And on that note, thank you, JeRonelle, for such an incredible interview. Thank you for,
Thank you.
coming through. I know you're sick. I know you've been on antibiotics, and I appreciate you, you know, because I know you said that you were like, hey, I was like not talking the past couple days. So I really appreciate you talking for this full hour with me and singing and, answering all the fan questions. We really appreciate you coming on the show. Guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow him on Instagram, social, all platforms. Please share the new EP in below. It's called Beloved. And yes, please make sure to follow me. I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibin with Ashley Live. And I have incredible musicians just like JeRonelle on my show all the time. So thank you again. Have a great weekend.
Yes,
And
yes.
we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you. All righty. Have a
Have a
good
good
day.
Bye-bye.